Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today I'm going to be going over a topic that's definitely long-standing and something that has existed or has gotten worse over time that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and this is specifically sparked by the new update, and that is school identity. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, each school has a certain aspect of them that is particularly strong. For example, fire has a lot of damage and damage over times. Storm does a massive amount of damage. Ice doesn't do much damage, but they're very resistant. Life can heal and has a bit of resistant health as well. Myth summons minions, which I don't know if they've used that since the dawn of time. I don't know if we consider that a school identity anymore. But they also do, they're kind of a middle ground, similar to balance. They do a decent amount of damage, and then death does a decent amount of damage and heals back. Right? So that's all of them. That's all the schools. Now, if you don't know, one of the major complaints I've had for a long time, and a lot of people have, is that school identities are becoming less and less by the day. When I made my Dragoon Gear is Broken video, it's because school identities are removed completely. And for some reason, people disagreed with that. I don't know why. I think it's because a lot of them were a bunch of Ice and Life mains who were like, but my damage, I want 150 damage. And I'm like, you shouldn't have 150 damage in the first place. And this is the problem that King's Isle has, right? Is they release an update and they release it it's too powerful. So the Dragoon Gear was too powerful, right? Maybe not for fire and storm or death or whatever, but for ice and life, it definitely was similar to balance. It gave too much damage. And now the problem with it is that they can't remove that gear from existence, because now they're going to have a bunch of ice, life, and balance wizards who are rioting because all of a sudden they went from 160, 170 damage to 130 damage where they should have been to begin with. But I'm going to stop complaining about that, because I'm probably going to get a lot of dislikes just from that alone, because I know that all the ice and life wizards think that they should do as much damage as the fire and storm wizards. Whatever, I'm moving on. But in the most recent update to Wizard101 that hasn't released yet, obviously it's still test realm, is the change of blades. Now, if you didn't know, blades and traps have been changed in the newest update, and they've not been changed in a good way in the slightest. They've been changed so that every school has a flat plus 35, except balance, which has a plus 25. I don't disagree with the balance thing. I think the balance thing should stay at plus 25%, maybe up to plus 30. Plus 25 is fine, because it can affect any school. That's how it should be. That's how it works. But the problem, the sheer problem with having every other school be lowered to a plus 35 or raised to a plus 35 is it removes the entire point of the blades having variance in the first place. The entire point is that that it was supposed to make it so that schools who had lower damages, such as life, ice, myth, okay, not myth, sorry, lice, sorry, I had a stroke mid-sentence. Life and ice had plus 40%, which was higher. I don't really know why death had plus 40% as well, because they've had high damage, but whatever. Right? Fire, myth had a plus 35 because they did quite a bit of damage, right? But not as high as storm, which had a plus 30 because it did the most amount. So it's descending order, right? For the more attack you have, the less your blade does. Obviously, balance is the exception. Now, when they make all of these plus 35, what that does is it removes that entire aspect. It makes it so that every school has the same blade, and one of the best parts of death and of life was that plus 40 blade, because that plus 40 blade was very useful because you didn't have as much damage, so you want to have a higher blade. But King's Isle has removed that. I hope that they see the error of their ways, but I'm really annoyed because I don't think that that should have existed. Same with traps. They changed traps as well, and that's annoying to me because I mean, personally, I don't even use traps anyway, so it doesn't matter to me, but it annoys me because it shows that it's still the same, right? In both cases, they want to remove that school identity. And what annoys me just the absolute most about this entire process is that KingsIsle says specifically every single, or not every single time, but they've said this a few updates, is we've noticed a lack of school identity. As such, we are going to change this feature and this feature to make up for that. But the thing is that every single time they've changed one of these features, it's just made it worse. And it baffles me. I hope this doesn't become like a DICE Battlefront 2 situation where every single update they break 3 more things, because that annoys me beyond belief, because it shows that the developers don't know what they're doing, right? And I want to believe that the KingsIsle developers know what they're doing, but over time I'm doubting it more and more. I'm not saying that I could do a better job. Don't get me wrong. I would never think that I could do what they're doing. But I don't understand why they can't think the same way that the player base does. Why can't they go to our level and understand what changes would do to the game that we understand? And because there's a lot of changes that like people dislike, like the damage cap, the blade thing. People don't like these. So why can't KingsIsle come down to our level and be like, wait a second, the player base isn't going to like these because these changes are borderline useless and just kind of stupid, right? That's just my perspective on it. But, you know, I think I've talked enough about this. I just really wanted to bring this up in a video because I think it's really important to note that KingsIsle is doing something, and I don't know if it's the right something. If you didn't know about these blade changes, now you do. But whatever, I'm done here. Let me know in the comments what your opinion is on this. You can disagree with me completely. Just have respectful conversations with each other, and with me, please. I would also like you to respect me. But if you do leave a hate comment, I will pin it. I have been doing that for the last few years. So there you go, haters. Have fun. So that's it. Again, leave your thoughts below. If you disagree with me completely, if you think, you know, that this blade change was the best thing in the world, I would like to know your opinion on it, and I'd like you to justify that opinion because I disagree with you. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Have a fantastic day. Adios.